My name is Harold. I'm 78 years old now, and I've spent a long time thinking about life, about what I valued, and what I wasted time chasing. I want to tell you about some of the things I thought mattered, and how I realized only recently that they really didn't. It was 6 months ago, late at night. I was sitting in my study, looking at my old photographs, and it hit me. My house was quiet, my children busy with their own lives, and my friends, most of them gone, were memories on a shelf. I realized I had spent so much of my life chasing things that didn't matter, that I had missed the simple moments. I felt small, not sad exactly, just aware of the time I'd let slip by. I suppose it all started back when I was 25. I had a job at a small accounting firm, and I was ambitious, maybe too ambitious. I wanted recognition, a corner office, a tidy bank account. I thought if I could just climb higher, people would respect me, and I would finally feel like I had made it. So I worked. Long hours, early mornings, late nights. I learned to love the hum of fluorescent lights, the endless shuffle of papers, the neat little rows of numbers that made the world feel orderly. I thought I was building something important. At the time, it felt like the most important thing in the world, but life was happening while I worked. My wife, Margaret, tried to get my attention. We had 2 children, Alice and James. I remember them asking me to read bedtime stories or play in the yard. I would smile and promise I would later, after finishing just one more report, one more client call. And later, well, later often never came. On weekends, I was proud of my house. I trimmed the hedges just so, cleaned the windows until they sparkled. Friends would come by, and I'd show off the neatness, the organization. I thought that mattered. I thought they would see me as competent, as capable, as someone worth admiring. Years passed. Promotions came. Raises came. Yet, looking back, I can't remember the joy of any of it. I remember the stress, the worry, the exhaustion. And Margaret aged beside me. She tried to get me to stop, to slow down, to notice the little things. I didn't. I thought work mattered more than a quiet morning coffee together, or her hand resting in mine on the couch while the news played on low in the background. When my father died in my early 40s, I thought the right thing to do was manage the funeral, handle the estate efficiently. I didn't think about grief or about my own heart. I put on a suit, gave a proper speech, shook hands, nodded at neighbors. I did everything right, and then I went back to work. That was when I started to notice a pattern. I was busy doing what I thought mattered, and the things that really mattered, the laughter, the quiet conversations, the gentle presence were slipping past me. Margaret died when I was 68. Breast cancer. She had been sick for a long time, and I had been there, but I realized now I could have been more present. I could have listened more, sat quietly more, held her hand longer. I was there, of course, but my mind was always partially somewhere else, thinking about what I needed to finish, what I still had to do. I thought time was on my side. After she passed, I felt a hollowness I hadn't known before. I started paying attention to the friends I had left. I began noticing who still called, who still visited. I realized how few people actually mattered, how few people truly wanted your presence, not your performance. And those people? They were gone too, slowly, one by one, either moved away, ill, or passed. I remember a Tuesday morning a few months ago, sitting on my porch, coffee in hand, staring at the garden. I had trimmed it the day before, and for a fleeting moment, I felt a small pride. Then I realized the garden didn't care. The flowers didn't notice. And nobody was watching. The only moments that mattered were the ones shared with someone else. I think that is the lesson. All those promotions, all those things I chased attention, money, admiration, they didn't matter. What mattered was being there, truly being there, watching a sunrise with someone, listening to their stories, sharing a laugh that doesn't need a punchline, sitting in silence and letting it be enough. I regret not realizing this sooner. I regret the time I spent proving myself instead of simply being present. I regret the missed dinners, the postponed visits, the moments I thought I would have later. Later never comes the way you expect it to dot, so here's what I try to do now at 78. I call my children more often, even if they're busy. I reach out to old friends, even if it feels awkward. I sit in their presence without talking, just being there. I make small gestures that feel insignificant, but are the ones that matter most. If I could tell my younger self anything, it would be, the things you think are important aren't. The things that feel small, the moments you ignore, the people beside you, you are taking them for granted. So if you're listening to this, take a moment. Reach out to someone you care about. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until life gives you a pause. Call, visit, sit, listen, be there. That's what matters. That's what people remember. That's what makes life rich, even in its quiet, ordinary moments. I still have mornings when I sit alone, remembering Margaret, remembering friends who have passed, remembering children who are busy with their own lives. And yes, it's lonely sometimes, but I'm grateful. Grateful that I see clearly now. Grateful that I can still reach out, still connect, still feel. These small things, the visits, the calls, the quiet presence, they are everything. They are the stories you don't forget. And if this story means anything to you, please reach out to someone you care about today. Call them, send a message, make plans. Life is short and time is more fragile than you realize. If you like this, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, share your own story in the comments, and remember, the things you thought mattered might not, but the people around you always do.